Markle and the Queen, or Meghan, the Queen and I. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you're all keeping well, whatever you're doing. I know, look at the leaves and trees behind me. Terrible storm over here in the United Kingdom last night and everything, you know, you wake up and all those trees that were fully dressed are now a little bit less well dressed. I know you're thinking the same at times, aren't you, when you're looking at me? We try our best, of course. I'm dreading the point, as I've told you before, about having to put a scarf and coat on and everything like that. It's just so cumbersome, isn't it, when you're going out? Bad enough just trying to get out the door, but you don't need all that extra paraphernalia, do you? Sound like an old moaning man, don't I? But you know what I mean? Just slows you down, you know. As ever though, back to your breaking royal story of the day. This story really centres upon, well, as we now know with Meghan Markle, she recently sat down with the esteemed entertainment Bible Variety and gave a real sort of wide-ranging interview, you know. Interesting topics in many respects because they made no sense, did they? People couldn't understand the front cover, really. Why did she go for that particular look? I don't know about you, she reminded me of Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek. You know, it looked like it could sort of be electronic device, you know, round her neck. I'm sure it was a very expensive piece of jewellery, but it just didn't look like that, did it? Now it's interesting because obviously we now know that Meghan, towards the end of this month, for a very pretty figure, is going to be speaking at the Marriott Hotel in the United States, in a downtown Marriott, should we say. Apparently it's not that big, but of course, you know, Meghan's looking to extol her brand now, make sure that people know exactly what she's about. It's all about empowering women, people that she's met, her story. As I've said to you before, one wonders if we'll get the usual thing about the washing up liquid and the usual things about deal or no deal. She's going to have to give something though, because these people are paying a lot of bucks, you know. It's not cheap to go and listen to Meghan Markle speak. But now what is interesting, as we told you before, is all levels of the media have been banned. This is because apparently it's a private event. It was a clever idea by them, as we also pointed out, because they let the world know that this event was taking place, which has made sure that sales have at least increased somewhat. But now, according to a very good source, and I'm told this by a very good source indeed, it looks like Meghan could be remembering some of the more fun times with our late monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, our wonderful Majesty the Queen. That's right. And this could be the reason, allegedly, as ever we have to say, why that they don't want the media there, because Meghan, as I say, will have to trade on those connections. It's a little bit like, you know, former royal butlers and things like that, or royal protection officers. They go on these cruise ships and they have to give away little tidbits and secrets, you know, to let people know what it was like being part of that family. Now, Meghan will be no different now. She's a micro-celebrity, but the connections that she had, albeit very briefly, are fascinating to an audience paying a lot of money, whatever some people might think. And what's also interesting to note here is the fact that Meghan, by having a closed environment, will be able to speak about perhaps being on the royal train with Her Majesty. What is it like to stand next to our wonderful late monarch on that now famous royal balcony at Buckingham Palace? Either way, I am told that that could be part now of the topics involved. As ever, this will only reinvigorate the people saying, is it time to remove their titles? Are they simply trading on those royal connections? What I would say is, you know, and I've said this many times before, you can only trade so far because those stories become very old very quickly. By remaining part of the world's most famous family, you could have had a plethora of stories. But for now, seemingly, Meghan's happy to share with a limited few. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.